Hey guys, Morgan's Maintenance, episode 70 of Guess the Trade. But first, let's go back and talk about episode 69, where we looked at Jock Crill's loadout. We looked at two different loadouts. He said he had a main thing and then a side gig. Well, with his main thing, we looked at his truck loadout. Lots of tools, supplies, power tools, all sorts of things in there that he slid out of the back of his truck. And then we took a look at his Husky backpack and all the tools inside of that. Well, what was it that he did with those tools? He said that he runs a handyman business with those tools. And then you can see his answer there for his side gig with that U.S. General toolbox that we looked at. Lots of tools, lots of sockets, ratchets, all sorts of things in there. He said that he is an industrial maintenance technician as far as his side gig. So that's the answers to the two loadouts that he sent in. Appreciate you, Jock, for sending those in. Well, today is going to be a reload episode for a couple reasons. One is I need to film this episode and then also film the next episode this week. So I don't have time to wait for the answers. So I am kind of jumping a few people as far as in my list of numbers to be able to do these. So you're going to see some newer bags in this reload episode. We're going to look at two different loadouts. The first one that we're going to look at is Tools with Tim. He was back in episode 42, and in that episode, he said that he was a heavy DIYer, but he was wanting to get into handyman stuff. So today we're going to look at his SC45, also his Veto MP1X, and then also his Veto Pro Pack SBLD. So three different Veto things that we're going to look at. We're just going to look at Tim's new setup, see if we can learn anything from his loadouts, or maybe we got some questions for him. But let's go ahead and check out Tim's new tools. So first picture, we've got all three of the items that we're going to look at today. Over there on the left is the MP1X. And then he's got the SBLD in the middle and the SC45 on the side. I think he got that SC45 as the tier 2 for buying his SBLD. So move on to the next one. We're going to get into the SBLD first. So here's the front part. He's going to pull all these tools out for us. So again, just seeing the loadout of how he's got his bag loaded. I'm seeing some Talon grips in the middle. Seeing some Klein, seeing some Weehaw, probably some Knipex as well. Moving on, so this is all the tools that's right there in that main pocket. So this is a very good picture for you if you're thinking about an SBLD. So he's got the 250 Cobras on the left. Also some Weehaw, I'm going to call them nibblers, pinchers. People call those all sorts of different things. Klein insulated driver with the flip bit. He's got the Phillips slotted in there. Also a Weehaw slotted up top. He's got the Philo. I can't remember if that's called like the smart handle. I've got a smart handle, but they got like different versions of it. Mine's just a handle that you put a bit in, but this one articulates to that 90 degrees. It's a pretty interesting. I can't remember exactly what the name is, but I have looked at it before. Also got the Weehaw diagonals down here at the bottom with that power button. He has the Icon Talon grips, and I do remember him talking about this, and I'm probably may look into doing this to mine because I'm not a fan of the Icon grips either. He essentially cut off the Icon grips, a little bit puffy on those, and then I think he did some heat shrink or something. I can't remember exactly what it is you said you used, Tim, so drop that in the comments below. Might be some other people want to do that as well. So he's done that with the Icon Talon grips. He's also got some orange handled, looks like some flush cut diagonal type things. I don't know if those are Sonata, Baco, or something like that. I know those kind of have orange handles. Knipex twin grip 200 pair, also a pair of Weehaw. Those are the Weehaw, kind of like the Knipex electrical installation pliers, but they are VDE. I want to say maybe they're metric sizes. I'd have to look them back up. I did find them on Amazon, but they're like 120 bucks or something like that. So definitely not buying them at that price, but pretty interesting tool there. Also the Weehaw, let's see, just a 1/4 inch driver, and then also the Weehaw pair of like alligator style tongue and groove pliers right there as well. There's that picture. Moving on to the next one. So this is on one side of his bag back there. We have a pry bar, also have kind of like a smaller style pry bar. Not so much, it's kind of like to stick into a tab or something. I'm talking about that 4140 deal there. I don't know what the specific name for that type of a pry bar is, but spring punch tool, which actually it's like a hinge removal tool of a spring type. Magnet there as well, Milwaukee Fastback 1505, Purdy, the foldable scraper, Knipex 180, also the Joker 6004, and then also so that's the small, which goes 13 to 10, and then 13 to 16 is the two sizes he has there. I did finally get my hands on one of those Thanks to Mac Berkson, he sent me one out. Mine is the large size. I can't remember exactly what the sizes are that it goes to, but it's basically like a 3/4 to, I want to say, an inch, or maybe it's 1/2 inch to 3/4, something like that. But he's got that there, so it's probably like 19 millimeter to something. But also a Weehaw T-handle. He's got a Klein stubby, probably 8-in-1 or 12-in-1 in the Riley sheath. Gorilla tape, mega tape, electrical tape, and then the Klein little small mini ratchet up there at the top. Moving on to the next one. Engineer scissors. I've got the Van Plier, like those. It's basically the same thing, and they are phenomenal. Blaze Bosch laser distance measure. He's running the Rayler Allen keys. Again, I feel like that's the best way to run Allen keys. Milwaukee 6-foot tape, stud buddy, ox pencil, ox marker. I really do kind of like the ox pencil. The marker of the head is way too, big. I don't know if they sell a smaller head or not. And that's either the 27-in-1 or 14-in-1. I can never tell the difference between those two unless I'm seeing like them directly beside of like one of the regular like 4-in-1 style, because they're both a little bigger. But that one looks like maybe that's the 14-in-1, but I could be wrong. Next picture, backside of the SBLD. So here we're looking at the M12 Impact. That's the one with the tri-lobe. He's also got a meter back there, it looks like, as well. So that meter is a... I can't see the name. It's up there underneath of his leads. I'm not sure what meter that is. Milwaukee right angle adapter, again, along with his Milwaukee M12. He's also got temperature probe right there for that meter as well. Next picture. So this is in that tablet flap, or whatever you want to call it. Looks like he's got gloves, zip ties, and some sort of a light. It's a Husky light that he's got down in there. And then he's also got a parts box kind of down in below there as well. He's running the Ideal Wago styles, and then also some different screws, self tappers, some yellow wire nuts, some wall anchors, so typical stuff that you just might run into. Next picture, Tool Check Plus. He's got the metric. I think that's the same exact one that I have, actually, because it's got the same amount of gold bits and those things in it. He's got a Makita rail over there for nut drivers or different sockets. Looks like 1/4, 5/16, and 3/8. And then also a Malco that is 3/8 and 5/16. And then this right here, this is that bit. It is an Apex bit. This is one of the bits that I had on my cart that I made a post about saying, guess the job. That's one of the bits that I had whenever I was installing all those door knobs, because essentially your bit will spin in your drill, but it's kind of a sleeve over the top of it to protect a finish if you're rubbing up against like a doorknob or something like that. If it's one of those doorknobs you can't take the handle off of, sometimes that's a good way to go. So he's got that there. On to the next one. So now we're going to get into his MP1X. I believe it's 1X anyways. I could be wrong. It could be an MPX, but I think it's a 1X. We'll see maybe the back of it. I was just going off the picture of looking at it and not diving into it thinking it was a 1X, but this might actually be an MPX. So he's got the Vessel USB. Looks like either a Milwaukee holder in it or Diablo. He's got the Irwin vice grip, that NWS styled angled. I've got a couple pairs of those. He's also got like that Kinepix light or something on there. I guess that's probably one that fits specifically NWS, so it might be NWS brand. I've seen a Kinepix little light like that before. Impact 11-in-1, so he's got half of that shaft out. He's got also a different shaft over there. That's a ratcheting Impact 11-in-1. Another Milwaukee fastback, a Rayler bit rail with some bits in it, another ox pencil, and then he's got the 180 Cobras with the jaw protectors on there. I just ordered me some of those jaw protectors for my 180 Cobras, and I think that's also an Annex bit right there. I can see he's also running some super slick stuff up there in that top left. Smart man. Moving on to the next one. So now we got the SC45. So that comes with that small pouch, and then also the bigger, pouch that zippers up. There's everything he's got in that one. Here we go. We've got a John Ard Tools, a little small meter, digital smart multimeter, and then he's got an Olight. Maybe that's I still am not very good with the names on those. I think maybe that's a Baton 4, 3, 2, something like that. It's probably a Baton something, or it could be even like Warrior or something. I don't know, but it looks like a baton something. I'm not good with the names. If it's not the Arc Feld Flex O-Clip, those, if once you get into the other ones, I don't use those enough that I'm used to what the names of them are. So also got that Klein 10-in-1. I've had so many comments about this one. People either love it or there's broke on them. I mean, I can't tell you how many people have told me I didn't have it no time and it broke. So drop it in the comments below if you bought this Klein 10-in-1. I put mine in my vest. I don't use it like a ton or anything. Like, it's not an everyday tool for me, but it is something that I've got on me for a precision driver of pretty much every residential service call that I go into. And mine hasn't broke yet, but I've got tons of comments about that breaking. So drop it in the comments below if you've had issues. Also got the Pentel Graph Gear 1000, my favorite pencil by far. Also the Sandtronics, that's the one without the sound. Great non-contact voltage tester, and then a small little sliding ruler up there. Moving on to the next one, there's his name. So again, this is what's inside of his SC45. He kind of didn't get into those hand tools there, so it's an O-clip, or I missed them, but I'm pretty sure I got all of them downloaded. The 150 Cobras, regular bit rail, and then it looks like he's got an annex driver, the one that everybody keeps telling me I need to try to get at some point in time. Inside of there, here's what's inside of his. Again, let us know, Tim, for sure if it's a 1X or an MPX. I believe it is a 1X. Let me look at my MP. Now, that might be an MPX, actually. So I think it is an MPX. Then we got the Veto tool check. So this is all the stuff in his SBLD right here, along with his Milwaukee stuff in the back. Very good bag. Again, I ran this all last year. Absolutely love it. Lots of wrenches, lots of things like that. Again, really interested in the Talon grips from Icon, what he did to the handles on there, because that's definitely a lot slimmer. And then here again is that main portion of the bag, but here's all three of the things that we checked out new from Tim. There's tools with Tim's new loadout of his Veto SBLD, also MPX, I believe, and SC45. So he, again, was back in episode 42. Said he was heavy DIYer, but also I think he might have said he was a window washer by trade, if I remember right at the time. But he was wanting to get into handyman, but it looks like he also got into Veto. So let us know, Tim, what you think about Veto. Do you think it's worth it? Let us know that in the comments below. Thanks for sharing your new loadout with us. He's also got a channel. You might want to go check that out as well. Well, the second reload that we're going to get into was all the way back in episode 4. So kind of one of the original people on the Guess the Trade. He is Search Eternal, and he also has several things. I'm going to have to read them off here. We're going to look at a lot of pictures from him. A Veto OC140, so that's kind of that older style of the SC45. The SC45 and the SBLD, he got those as well. So two of the same things that we just looked at from Tim, we're also going to look at from Search Eternal. And then he also has a Milwaukee Packout tote and an ammo can that we're going to look at. So back in episode 4, he never responded into what his trade was, but he did tell me in this email that he is an HVAC. So we know that going into it. We're going to check out his new loadout, see what we think about it, see if we've got some questions for him. But let's check out Search Eternal's tools. So we're going to start out with the OC140. I just kept these in the order that he sent them to me. I think we go through all the Veto stuff and then maybe get into the Milwaukee, or I could be totally wrong. So OC140 inside of there. Let's see. I'm not real sure what brand either one of those are. So there's a crimper, and then also maybe a Klein. Those might be the Klein version of the pliers wrench, but I'm not sure what that crimper is. Here we've got, and I think that this works to where, I could be wrong, I've never had one of these, but I think basically this has almost like a pages inside of it, where he's got this on one side, you've got this parts bin on the other side that goes both directions, and then you got this other side. So this is all within this one case. Looks like he's got a bunch of jumpers, also a Klein something in one with some bit storage as well, as far as he's got the flip socket in there. Also looks like that's a Nebo light, maybe. I could be wrong about that. And then a cobalt meter with the test leads. So here we go. We're going to see them all out now. So looks like he's got his own little jumper set up there, so he can hook those all in with the Wago. And then also, let's see, it was a Nebo light. There's a parts bin with just small wire nuts, the little small fuses, little zippets and stuff like that. That might be the Klein. I wanted to say it was the 17-in-1, but I think that's probably that 16-in-1, because the 1/4 inch and 5/16 up there is not that just standard bit holder by itself type thing. So, but we'll move on to the next one. So again, there's his meter up close. There again is that 1/4 and 5/16 as well, and the leads and all that stuff for that. Next picture, so this is the SC45. So it's kind of got that smaller pouch on the front and then kind of a zippered pouch as well. He's got a Kaiweets meter inside of this one, a clamp meter. I think his Cobalt was a clamp meter too, right? Yeah, so maybe he uses certain ones for certain jobs. Like he's got a certain, he takes the SC45 for some and then takes the OC140 for some. You can let us know, Search Eternal, in the comments what you might use those for. So here's the inside of that. He's got the Klein 11-in-1. He's also got a 5/16 hollow nut driver, like a dedicated one. Small little Klein 4-in-1. A box wrench there, 1/4 5/16. Also a 180 pair of the alligator style Cobras. And then a big pair of Cobalt strippers that are kind of like some of the Kleins, kind of like a Knipex forged wire stripper type as well. So now we're going to get into the Milwaukee tote. So he's got this tool tote organizer on the bottom. I would say, just based on looking at it right here, looking at the tools here in a minute, I think we're going to get into, this is where he would do his installs or duct work and all that kind of stuff like that. So here's the other side of that pouch. Again, big snip, scissors, different pliers. He's also got that Malco nibbler that you put into your impact right there as well. Some cutters, tubing cutters. You can see a little bit of that there. He got a little bit of glare off of his duct work on his table there. So again, he's got benders. Let's see, I think that might be, I don't know what brand that pliers wrench is. Is that Knipex or is that something else? I think it's Knipex. Also, well, it might not be, because I think those are dual channel locks. Those are probably the Icon pliers wrench as well. So also over here, we've got, again, there's his parts box. Different wire nuts, different zippets, different things for strapping, also for putting the power into the unit, different things like that. Up top, there's all your, snips. And then also, I already forgot what the name of it was, because y'all actually told me what the name of it was to ask Miss Maintenance on the Ask Miss Maintenance if she knows what the tools were or what they were for. And this was one of the tools that one of you suggested. And I can't remember what you call it, because I just call it, my pipe shortener is what I call it, or make it more skinny. I've never known what the specific name was for it, but one of you guys told me to check it out and ask her about it. So I Googled it to see what it was. I was like, oh, I actually do have one of those. So I can't remember what the name of it is, but basically, essentially, you make your duct work. You got that crimped edge around it. He's also got snips there. Again, straights, greens and reds, some diagonals, some linemen, some strippers. Let's see. Little small conduit cutter, tubing cutter, also 25-foot magnetic. I'd say a magnetic tape measure is a necessity for this work. Also duct knife, the Milwaukee demo driver, where you can punch that into duct work, and then also a masonry style hammer, and then an insulated Milwaukee set, and then also looks like kind of like an 11-in-1 Milwaukee as well. So next picture, now we're going to get into the ammo box. Down inside of there, hose, also a Klein pouch of some sort, looks like also battery charger, and then my guess is going to be a vacuum pump or something just by looking at it right here, probably vacuum hoses. So it's a Hercules, so also has a micron gauge, I think, right there. So probably some people might wonder, how well do you like the Hercules pump? Is it working out well for you, Search Eternal? You might throw that in the comments below. I would think a battery powered one of those types things. I know Milwaukee is just recently releasing one. I think it's Hillman, and I only know these because I watch, different people in HVAC trades. I've never really pulled a vacuum on a unit or anything like that. Never even used one of these. So interested again, because I know I might get a comment. You might want to throw in how well you like the Hercules. But next picture. So now we're getting into that SBLD. There's that front side of the bag. So again, same exact thing that we just looked at with Tools with Tim. This bag is pretty amazing on what all you can fit in it. There is one of the sides. Looks like he has the DeWalt gyroscopic screwdriver, also right angle adapter, a what do you call it? A door button magnet. I don't remember what you would call that. Basically, it triggers that so you can have that panel off so you can leave it running turned on again. Can't remember what the exact name is on the off the cuff. Let's see, over here we got brush. We've got some pills. I'm sure that's not what's in there. Different bit holders, different Sharpies, different bits. He looks like he's got some step bits on some railer bit holders as well. Back in here in the tablet, looks like he's got a little popper, and then just a box, parts box for something there as well. And then in the actual back part section where it's a zippered part of the SBLD, looks like he's got a field piece meter, probe set, clamps, stuff like that. Then he's also got some nylock and stubby multi and different bits. So here is the main tools that were up in the front. Again, another box wrench, Klein Tools strippers, kind of that forged wire stripper head again. I think I might even have that pair. Husky wrench of a 9/16, and then also an adjustable wrench. Big pair of Klein diagonals, looks like. Klein Tools bigger pair of pliers wrench. That's the 10-inch pair. Also a Klein 11-in-1. The old Malco driver with a Malco bit in it. An infrared thermometer that is also a non-contact voltage tester, and then a dual screwdriver. And then we've got the Railer Magmat, the smaller version, 6.5 Milwaukee tape measure, the DeWalt gyroscopic screwdriver. So his, I don't think, goes into the pistol formation. This is that regular one, which now looking at that, it actually might be a little bit smaller in length than the pistol one though, but I still think I would like the pistol one. But 9 times out of 10, there's a lot of situations where that pistol grip with the turning of your wrist to make it work, you end up bumping stuff and it doesn't work. So you would definitely want to be able to go straight. If they had one that was just pistol grip and didn't go straight, I would say get the straight. But if you can get the one that has the pistol grip and the straight, I think it's a pretty good option. Again, he's got the DeWalt right angle adapter, also the magnet for the door switch, and then the Klein little small ratchet, along with a couple deals over there on his carabiner as well. Here we've got the flip socket that looks like maybe the Milwaukee, but it could be the Klein, but it almost has a little bit different shape to it. I think those little lines up there, I think those are Milwaukee's maybe. I wasn't a big fan of that one. He's also got the tablets. That's what's in that pill bottle to put into drain pans. He's got electrical tape, step bits, Schrader removal tool, also Malco longer, and then the longer DeWalt locking bit holder. Here we've got a field piece, the SC44 something probably. I think it's 440. I think maybe that's the right number. That might have been one of the ones I was looking at. Again, I kept looking into a field piece meter just specifically to get the magnet that's on the back of it, to have that on your meter built in. I think all meters should have that built into it. I think it's a really nice option from Field Piece. Kind of makes me jealous every time I see one, but always been a Fluke person, but I've thought about getting a Field Piece just for that. So I think it's SC440, and then it looks like he's also got probes, and again, I think those might be Testo. I'm not good about that either, but I don't think those are Field Piece. I think those are Testo. Then over there on the left in his parts box, he's got Wagos. He's got Ideal Wago style stuff, small fuses, again, Zippets. Then he's got the little popper, and then I think maybe that's that Short Pro tool as well. Nylock, stubby multi, small tubing cutter, all those kinds of things. Temperature probe. Again, more locking bit holders from DeWalt. And then there's his name right there. So again, going back through his SBLD, we'll get back to, actually, I don't think he had a main picture that showed everything in it. But again, lots of stuff will fit in this bag. He's using it for HVAC. And then here is his Hercules vacuum pump inside of the Milwaukee ammo can. And then here is his, basically, to me, ductwork installation tote. And that Milwaukee Packout tote, so that's a good use for that. Also has that organizer up and underneath of it. And then we get into his two. This is that SC45 right here, that newer little pouch. And then he's also got this OC140 that's pretty similar. So that's his last pouch. That's the first one that we looked at. But that's Search Eternal's new loadout all the way back from episode 4. So again, one of the ones from way, way back. And in that one he shared, I want to say it was an MB2, MB3, something like that. And again, he didn't answer, but it was pretty obvious then that he was probably an HVAC. But it was for sure obvious when we looked at these that he was in HVAC. He did tell me when he sent me these pictures what it is that he does. So again, appreciate you, Search Eternal, sending in your new loadout. Also, you Tools with Tim for sending in yours as well. Again, we do these reload episodes because I feel like we can still learn stuff from someone's new setups in their newer bags and stuff like that, because sometimes we've even looked at their tools. We might know what they do, but once they get that new bag, maybe that new bag is the one that we're looking for and the one that we're checking out. We want to know about, want to know how our tools will fit in there. So again, we can always learn something from those. If you've already been in the Guess the Trades and you want to submit a new loadout with new bags, new setup, whatever it is, just do it the same way that you did originally, and I'll get you on the list just the same. And again, I did a reload episode this week because I'm going to film the next week after this one's today as well, because I know I'm going to be super busy next week, and that way I don't have to wait for an answer on the reloads. We already know what it is that they did. But that's episode 70 of the Guess the Trade series. I hope you guys found it interesting and useful. You guys stay safe. Have a blessed day. I'll see you on the next video.